Hiya, pals. Welcome back. Today, I wanted to chat to you about something that I think about quite a lot and something that every woman I work with, this comes up in conversation all the time, and it is self-care and productivity. So when we talk about self-care, I think a lot of people are like, oh, self-care is relaxation. Self-care is time off. Self-care is going in a bath or reading your book or sitting down and having a cup of tea. Imagine in a bath, reading your book and having a cup of tea. Sounds like the dream to me. But that isn't always self-care. I looked up the definition of self-care, and self-care is prioritizing your physical, emotional, and mental well being. It is looking after yourself physically and mentally in all possible ways. It is making yourself, your physical health, and your mental health a priority. That doesn't always mean relaxation. Sure, relaxation is going to be a part of it. Time off is going to be a part of it. But there are lots of other elements to self care that help you be more productive and get more done in your business and your work and your house and your fitness journey and your family life. So self-care, a lot of people get it wrong and they think it's only about taking time off and doing less. Self-care a lot of the time can be saying no to yourself. It doesn't always have to be when you look at your options or the decision you're going to make or what you're going to do. It doesn't always have to be being like, treat yourself. And a lot of people look at self care and think, if I am always saying, treat yourself, then that is me looking after my self care. Not necessarily. Think about things like buying new trainers. If you have already got, like me, 450 million pairs of trainers, and you go to buy another pair of trainers that you absolutely do not need, that is treat yourself. However, if you don't buy the trainers and you put the money in your investment account or in your ISA and you save it, you're looking after your future self and your future stability. That is self-care. Also, like if you've just had a bit of a crappy day and you're like, do you know what? I'm just really fed up. I'm going to get a Domino's. I don't care about the plans I've already made and I don't care about my goals today and I don't care about that chili that I've prepped in the fridge. Going and getting the Domino's is treat yourself. It's not necessarily self-care. There will be times that getting the Domino's is self-care, but in a lot of cases, sticking to the plans you have already made, eating the nutritious food that you have already prepped and is sitting in the fridge, that is self-care. So self-care is very much the act of looking after future you and doing the best thing in this moment for future you. What looks after future you's physical, mental, and emotional well-being? Matthew McConaughey wrote a book, and he's probably not one of the typical authors that I would read, but Matthew McConaughey wrote a book and it's called Green Lights. And the whole process and the theory behind green lighting yourself is doing stuff today that benefits you in the future. And the way he describes it is, think of a big long road with hundreds of sets of traffic lights on it. You know when you're driving along like the main road in your town and you get to every traffic light and it's green and the next one's green and it's green and it's green and it's green and every traffic light set of traffic lights you hit, it's green. You're buzzing and you're like, I am flying here. Makes your journey so much better. It makes it so much easier. It makes it so much quicker. But if you get to every set of traffic lights and as you approach them all, they all go red and you get stopped and you get stopped and you get stopped and you get stopped, you get annoyed and you're like, this is taking much longer than it should. This is a rubbish journey. And that's the difference between red lighting yourself and green lighting yourself. And the actions you take today, the actions you take tomorrow are green lighting or red lighting yourself for future you. And if there is one person that you want to look after, and if there is one person whose life you want to make easier, surely it's future you. So thinking about self-care, not just in terms of relaxation, but in terms of how does this green light future you? Go back to the trainers. If you buy the trainers now, you are spending more money, 100 quid, 150 quid, whatever it is you're spending on trainers. You're spending that now. That's a red light for future you because you have spent that £150 that you did not need to spend. Whereas if you don't buy the trainers, because you don't need them because you've got 450 million pairs. So if you don't buy the trainers, you put the money in the investment account, that is a green light for future you. Sometimes saying no to yourself is self-care. And when we say yes in the moment, take the easiest decision and do the things that makes a red light for us in the future, you're just kicking the can down the road. So when it comes to like work tasks, say I've got to record workouts for the app, I've got to record a podcast, I've got to get back to my check-ins, for example. If I'm like, oh, I'm really tired today, I know I'm supposed to do these three things today, I'm a wee bit tired and I'm a wee bit fed up. Do you know what? I'll just go to Costa, sit and get a Costa and read my book for a wee bit because that is, in inverted commas, self-care. I have just kicked that can down the road of those tasks that I absolutely do have to get done. I've just kicked the can down the road to either this afternoon or tomorrow. I'm still going to need to do the task anyway. And what I've done is just given myself red lights so that I'm going to keep encountering obstacles. Whereas if I was just like, do you know what? Yeah, I can't really be bothered doing these tasks, but they've got to get done for the greater good of the people that I work with and my business and myself down the road. So, do you know what? I'm going to say no to myself in this moment. I'm going to not kick the can down the road. I'm going to do the tasks that I said I would do, the things that I yesterday and the day before promised that I would do, the way I've set my week up. I'm going to stick to my plan. And would I rather go and sit and get a cup of tea and read my book? Of course I would rather. Everybody would rather than working, sit and do the things that they enjoy doing. But you are just kicking the can down the road and creating red lights for future you. So sometimes self-care is saying no to yourself. It is doing the things in this moment that helps future you down the road. It is keeping the promises to yourself. But it's not always just about working more. So I think a lot of people look at, on one side of the scale, they've got treat yourself and relaxation. On the other side of the scale, they've got work as hard as you can possibly work and just do all the things, tick all the boxes, get the to-do list done. But self-care sits in the middle of that, and you need to be strategic with it. And you have to build into your week things that you enjoy, things that you love. And you can't always, in every situation, take the easiest option, take the thing that you love, do the things that you enjoy, and just kick the can down the road of the harder things that you want to do. And it is finding that balance and integrating into your week, not just the things you have to do for future you, because if you only ever take the option of doing more work and doing more tasks and getting more stuff done, like me, recording more workouts, recording more podcasts, taking on more clients, if I just constantly add to that workload without any of the rest and relaxation, then it takes away all my creativity. It takes away all my energy and all my buzz. So self-care is sometimes stepping back from work, doing the things that you enjoy, and refilling your creativity, because that, the time away when I'm like, do you know what, I could just do more work and I would get more done and it would bring in more revenue and I'll have achieved more. If I just keep adding to that workload, if I just keep saying yes to everything, if I just keep doing more and more and more without any of the rest, relaxation, filling my cup stuff, it is accruing a debt for me. It is accruing a debt of taking away from my creativity, taking away from how buzzing I feel. And then that's creating red lights for future me because I am just going to be burnt out. So look at your whole week. Look at every decision in your week. Look at your calendar. You don't want to just fill your calendar with one task, two tasks, three tasks, and just constant tasks. You need space to refresh, regroup, and be ready to restart. So look at your entire week. and look at what end of the scale you're on. Are you on the end of the scale of just tasks, work, more stuff, more to-do list items? Or are you more on the end of the scale of just constantly being like, treat yourself? Because both of these ends of the scale, the treat yourself end of the scale and the do more work end of the scale, neither of them are creating green lights for future you. And that is where self care comes in. Self care is a blend of these two things. It is a blend of treat yourself and work hard, tick off your to do list tasks. And it is blending them and balancing them. That is what real self care is. It is a balance of getting stuff done, keeping promises to future you, saying no to yourself, and not kicking the can down the road, and a blend of taking time off, doing things that just fill your cup and light you up, things that are good for the soul. And that is where real self care is. It is in the blend of both those things. So if you are guilty of either of those, of just doing more, 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 or probably where I am on that further end of the scale of just being more like treat yourself, what can you do to bring yourself more to the centre where real self-care sits? And Grace Beverley said this in her book Working Hard, Hardly Working, which is a really good time management book. Whether you're a business owner or not, it's just a really good book for managing time and managing projects. And what she says is sometimes real self-care is just getting on with the tasks that you said you were going to do. It's just getting your to-do list for today done, rather than patching the to-do list, going and sitting on the couch with a cup of tea, and then it still sits in your brain. So you're not actually free of all of these tasks that you said you were going to do. You have just patched it and kicked the can down the road for later. So sometimes the real self-care is getting your to-do list done. Other times, the real self-care is knowing that you're not being productive with your work or with the task that you're working on or your fitness journey. Because going to the gym more and more and more and just doing more and more workouts is not the way to improve your strength and improve your fitness. As we all know, when it comes to fitness, the rest is important as the stress created in the workout. So think of applying that principle to your life, to your work, to your business, to your job, to your house, all of this. We need stress plus rest equals growth. So have a wee think about what end of the scale that you are sitting on. Are you more treat yourself, or are you just do more, more and more? And what are you going to do to bring that balance to the middle to create some real self-care for yourself? I would absolutely love to hear what changes you're going to make to be more proactive with your self-care. You can reach out to me on Instagram at the Badass Rules, and I will speak to you very soon. Bye!